Okay, so this is a video for Act 3, Scene 2. In the previous scene of Romeo and Juliet, Romeo was exiled by the prince for killing Tybalt. At this stage, Juliet doesn't know about the exile and the decree that's been passed by the prince, and she's waiting for Romeo to return to her so that they can consummate their marriage. But unfortunately the nurse brings her bad news. Now we're actually going to look at the soliloquy separately from the rest of the scene. Remember, a soliloquy is something that is spoken aloud for the benefit of the audience and to kind of give a bit of an understanding of the inner thoughts of the character and to support the overall story. But of course the idea here is that Juliet is speaking alone aloud to herself and voicing her feelings. So enter Juliet alone in the Capulet's house. We'll read the full soliloquy first and then we'll come back and do the annotations. Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Such a waggoner as Phaeton would whip you to the west and bring in cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain, love-performing night, that runaways' eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms, untalked and unseen. Lovers can see to do their amorous rites by their own beauties, or if love be blind, it best agrees with night. Come, civil knight, thou sober-suited matron all in black, and learn me how to win how to lose a winning match. Played for a pair of stainless maidenhoods. Hood my unmanned blood, bating in my cheeks, with thy black mantle till strange love grow bold. Think true love acted simple modesty? Come, knight, come, Romeo, come thou day and night, for thou wilt lie upon the wings of night, whiter than new snow upon a raven's back. Come, gentle knight, come, loving, black-browed knight, give me my Romeo, and when I shall die, take him and cut him out in little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world will be in love with night, and pay no worship to the garish sun. Oh, I have brought the mansion of a love, but not possessed it, and though I am sold, not yet enjoyed, so tedious is this day, as it's the night before some festival, to an impatient child that hath new robes and may not wear them. Oh, here comes my nurse. Okay, so let's just return now back to the beginning here. So we've got Juliet waiting eagerly. So this is a soliloquy where she's reflecting on her love for Romeo and her eagerness for him to return. And we can see this from the opening words, gallop apace, that imperative, gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, gallop apace, gallop faster, horses, bring my lover to me. Here we've got lots of references to night. Now you'll remember back in the balcony scene when Romeo snuck into the Capulet garden, night was a repeated motif. And night is somewhat duplicitous in Romeo and Juliet in that it has two sides. Night is normally considered to be something threatening or dangerous or something to be feared. But for Romeo and Juliet, actually nighttime brings them secrecy. And so the personification of night continues here. A love-performing night, come civil night, come gentle night, and loving black-browed night. Now, I've highlighted these in green so you can see that extended metaphor, that extended personification of the nighttime and this imagery of protection. Night is what gives them protection, what gives them the secrecy to continue their love. We've also got here, she's referencing quite a lot about this idea of losing her virginity, but she does it through clever wordplay and puns for modesty. So one that I think is quite interesting is this one. And learn me how to lose a winning match. When she says lose, she's talking about losing her virginity. But when she says a winning match, she's talking about herself and Romeo together. So she's making a pun here. She's going to lose her virginity, but she's going to gain a husband. So by losing and winning side by side, she's using a pun, a play on words to talk about the idea of losing her virginity. She does it again here where she's talking about hood my unmanned blood bating in my cheeks, that idea of desire. She's flushed, waiting for her husband. And then it continues down here as well. Another reference to this is down here on line 26, when she says, I have bought the mansion of a love but not possessed it. This hyperbole, referring to her love as a mansion that she's bought but she doesn't yet possess, she doesn't really own yet. She's talking about their love as being something that's grand, and it's something that they have, but they haven't yet consummated it, so it's almost not real. They don't own it yet, they almost don't believe it yet. And so there's this idea of innocence versus experience. She remains a child, and in fact she keeps saying she's like an impatient child with new robes who may not wear them. Until she has that moment where she loses her virginity with Romeo, she remains a child. And it's interesting, all of this idea to do with sexuality and to do with wanting to lose her virginity. One of the most interesting things I think this links to is the patriarchal reading. Now, patriarchy is the idea that men play the dominant roles in society, that they're the controlling and powerful force, and that they hold dominance over women. And certainly in Elizabethan era, that was certainly the case. One of the patriarchal readings that we can draw about Romeo and Juliet is the idea that Juliet is being punished with death in the end of the play for her lust and disobedience for her father, for this desire, and therefore that desire leads her to disobey her father. So for disobeying her father, the patriarchal reading suggests that Juliet is punished for her descent, for that disobedience, as a disobedient daughter. And a little higher up here as well, we've got some things to do with not only night, but also that binary opposition of light and dark imagery, particularly here. So whiter than new snow upon a raven's back, the binary opposition of white alongside a raven's back. A raven is, of course, a black bird. So the white and the black, the idea of good against evil. And that binary opposition represents the corruption of Verona, and also the corruption of their love, that's going to go from being innocent to kind of sinful and dangerous and sinister very quickly. And if you remember back in the balcony scene, when Romeo is saying things to Juliet like Juliet is the sun, and he compares her to the envious moon and all those kind of ideas, and he raises her to heavenly esteem, in the same way here when she says, cut him out into little stars and he will make the face of heaven so fine. Remember, stars relates to celestial imagery, and whenever we see that celestial imagery, we can make links to fate and fatalism, the idea that it's the destiny of the two of them to be together, but also the reference to Romeo being like the stars and like heaven aligns Romeo with heaven, and in a similar way also raises him to heavenly esteem. So for both of the lovers, there's this idea of obsession, there's this idea of idolatry, but there's also the idea of this kind of cosmic significance of their love, religious significance of their love, and also fatal significance of their love. The idea that this is, the two of them are brought together through fate, that they are destined to be together. So there's a lot there in Juliet's soliloquy, which we can analyse it on quite a deep level in terms of symbolism. Okay, we'll stop there and we'll analyse the second part of the scene in the next video. Okay, well done.